So the parable of the unmerciful servant is an interesting story. Matthew chapter 18, 21 to 35. It's a story of a king who forgives this guy who owes him a ton of money. But then the guy goes out and somebody owes him a couple bucks, and he has that guy thrown in jail. And the king finds out, he gets upset, and sends the guy to prison, or in the King James Bible it says sends him to be tormented. And it's a pretty straightforward parable. It's the lesson is, hey, you need to forgive. But the problem, at least for me, or the challenge at least for me, was verse 35, where Jesus adds these words. After the guy is thrown in jail to be tormented until he pays back his debt in full, Jesus says, that's what my heavenly Father will do to you if you refuse to forgive your brothers and sisters from your heart. And for me, that was problematic. That represented a challenge to me, because to me, I saw it as an act of a harsh and vindictive God. Not the God is love, the God who cares about us, God that, I'm familiar with, that I believe I worship. I saw this as a humongous punishment for, it didn't seem like this really bad offense, like not forgiving somebody. Not only that, but, the person who chooses not to forgive, generally they're the victim. They're the ones who were wrong, so now they're getting this double punishment. Somebody wronged them, and now God is punishing them because they didn't forgive. And then I think about this, the word torment. And it's like, wow, I see these little demons coming down and gnawing at their ankles and shooting them with these little arrows and piercing them and tormenting them simply because, somebody hurt them at some point in their life and they didn't forgive. So I didn't really, it troubled me. I didn't really get it. If I ever had to preach or teach on this parable, I would leave off verse 35 and leave it as, hey, you should forgive. But then I've started looking at folks who held grudges and didn't forgive, and I saw that they were angry, and they had troubled relationships, hard time maintaining a relationship, a lot of depression and fear and guilt and kind of hanging on, and they could not tell their story. They could not talk about themselves without bringing up this negative incident, and they were chained to it. It was part of their story, and it was just so powerfully embedded in their identity that it was destructive. And then I got to think, maybe I need to rethink how I think about the parable. Maybe it's not a parable of punishment where God is saying, hey, I'm mad at you because you didn't listen to me. I said forgive. You're not forgiving. That's it. I'm sending my guys after you to make your life miserable. Maybe that's not what it is. Maybe instead of a parable of punishment, maybe it's a parable of warning. Maybe it's not God's mad because you're not obeying him, but it's God saying, hey, look out, there's consequences if you choose to hang on to your anger. Hey, not forgiving is going to torment you. Maybe Jesus is trying to tell us that we were created in such a way that our bodies break down when we hold on to our anger. That, elongated exposure to anger and grudges will poison our bodies, our minds, our souls, our spirits, just like radiation does, or just like long periods of smoking cigarettes will. It's poison to the system. So it's not Jesus saying, I'm going to torment you with demons. No, the tormentors are the depression, are the bad relationships, is the anger, is the enmeshment with this negative experience. And it's a warning, just like, if Jesus was saying, woe to the person who jumps off a roof, for their legs will be broken. The broken legs aren't a punishment, it's a consequence of an action. And so it got me thinking that, maybe this is not a parable of punishment, but it is a parable of warning. And Jesus is warning us of the extreme negative consequences when we internalize and hold on to our anger, when we choose not to forgive. And for me, that is a powerful reason why I really need to think about forgiving the person who hurt me. So that being said, God bless you, walk in peace, and have the best day possible.